Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried, and I just want to say Hex is better than Bitcoin. Hex is better than Bitcoin. Did I mention that Hex is better than Bitcoin?
Why is Hex better than Bitcoin? Well, first of all, it's the fundamentals of the code. Fundamentals of code are better than Bitcoin's fundamentals. The inflation model is better than Bitcoin's inflation model. The staking feature is better than a mining feature. It's new tech versus old tech. It's decentralized versus centralized. Yes, all of those things. Well, welcome. Ahoy, crypto pirates, hexicans, cryptopians, all of you lovely, lovely folks out there. Thanks for coming by and watching. Those of you who have stopped by and watched, appreciate all of you. Appreciate the chat room. Today, we're going to get introduced and educated by somebody who's created something very important in the ecosystem, and it's called Pulse domains. And to be honest, I'm not an expert on domains and what they really mean and what they have to do with the scheme of things and how it even exists on PulseChain or blockchain. So we're going to get into that, talk a little bit about it. I'm going to learn. Those of you who don't know are going to learn too. But anyway, that's what's going to happen today. Also, gentleman who's going to be with me, Pulse Domains, I don't know if I'm supposed to say his name, is going to be hanging out with us this weekend, I believe, at the event at the Hexotic Rentals in Irvine, California, where we are going to be partying down, having a good time. Seminar, of course, first. VIP dinner, hang out with your favorite Hexkins out here in the California area. And then, even get a chance to chat with Mr. Pulse Domains himself, and maybe even get your own stuff set up. All right, let's say hello. Who's in the chat room? Agent J, DJ from the DGen Roundtable. What's happening? You're a DGen Roundtabler, or are you one of their supporters? I think you're one of them, right? Yes, glad you caught us live. Thanks for coming. Some of your favorite DGens. Yes, I always say I love being with the least of us, which includes myself. That's where I've always said, crawl through the alleys of the crypto slime, and I think you get something out of it, because you know what? There's something about, I said it in the movie, there's something about the misfits. It's the misfits. The people who have made the biggest impact in the world are the misfits. It's always been the degenerates, the misfits, that have made the biggest change in the world. So that's why I love all you guys. I freaking love the worst of us, the degens, the least of us, because I consider myself one too. So don't take that as an insult if I ever say that to you. But we are the degens, with a lot of smart people around us too. A lot of smart people. OBX, Reaper, welcome. Stefan, welcome. Trustless Yield. Agent Jay says, I am the token Asian guy of the group, Cap. I grew up as a token myself. I grew up in the wood in Inglewood, California. I was one of three, white children in my school at the time. And it was a little girl, my brother, and myself. So it was like three of us in this school. And so I was the token white boy. And I'm half native and half straight up white boy. Like, my mom's Polish and French. So it doesn't get any wider than that. It doesn't get any more, you don't hear any more jokes about your white race if you're French and Polish. That's just the way it is. And then on the other side, you got the drunk Indian jokes. So yeah, so I've gotten, my whole life I've been like, geez, I'm half Indian, half Polish and French. I hear all this stuff all the time. So anyway, again, another degen move by my parents, making me half white, half Indian, Polak, Frenchy. Anyway, let's see. Looking skinny, RG. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I just had my food delivered. I am on a very strict very regimented dietary program right now where I actually order my food every 5 days. They bring me my food and I've set everything to eat. So now I know I just eat out of these black tubs every day, and I'm on track. And then I've got my trainer that helps me every morning. I'm in the gym, taking care of business. No crazy stuff because the old guy's stuff doesn't work as good anymore. Break things, wreck things. Back goes out like, at once every couple months, my back goes out. And lately it hasn't been going all the way out, just enough to like make me have to rest it for a day or two. Then I'm back in the gym. So, but anyway, let me see. I've got the producer, SJ, the producer, is throwing stuff in here. Oh, telling me to check my Telegram. So real quick, before I bring our guests up, let me make sure that I've got the show prep notes and everything good. I don't know, producer. I'm looking in the show prep notes and I don't see anything. New notes for the tour. Oh, we got some new notes for the tour. Let me go through this and do some housekeeping real quick and tell everybody what's going on. Oh, by the way, my background, this is SJ's actually here in studio. She's doing some recordings and some stuff that's happening tomorrow, some exciting stuff. So anyway, she's got the studio all torn up with the green screen and everything. So let's see here. February 17th is coming up. We have a meeting in Houston, Texas. So of course, this weekend, this Saturday is Irvine. You want to get here to Cali. If you're in Cali, get to Irvine, get yourself a ticket on PulseChainTour.com. Get your tickets to come hang out with us. It's going to be an amazing time over at Exotic Rentals with Lambos, Ferraris, Porsches, the whole shebang, shaboom, man cave, party atmosphere, open bar. There will be lovely people there. I got in trouble for saying that there's going to be hot women there. So apologies to my wife for being a pig on Instagram for saying there's going to be hot girls there. But anyway, I am who I am. I don't mean to insult people, but that's it. I think that the guys want to hear that there is going to be ladies there to hang out with. Because some of you crypto guys, man, you need some help. Lately, it's been good. Vegas trips have been good. All that stuff's been good. But I'll tell you what, the London event, you guys broke my heart with that one. All right. So February 17th in Houston, which is our next event, we're going to have When Real Estate Meets Crypto seminar. So we're going to have speakers from both real estate and the crypto world. Most speakers have spent their time on both sides, so they understand the whole gamut of what's going on. And we'll teach you about generating passive income, with either one, crypto or real estate. So David Moondogder is going to be there. Corey Geary is going to be there from the DGens. So you're going to want to get to Houston. Now, the big event, March 6th through the 9th, 3-6-9. You have to get to Vegas. Vegas is an important one, guys. And if you want to get to Vegas and get your room, you're going to have to book your room by February 2nd. We're running out of time, about a week and a half left, maybe just about a week left to book your room. And that gets you your discounts, gets us the block rates. After February 2nd, we don't get any more block rates. And it's going to cost you more if you want to come. But here's what you get. There's some cool videos that SJ did showing exactly what needs to be done or what's going to happen. But come hang with us. You're going to meet Crypto Coffee. You're going to meet Maddie Allen. Maddie Allen's going to be there. World record holder. Put together the Hex online convention. Had the most streamers ever online. They're going to submit that to Guinness Book. But anyway, you're going to meet all of those folks. RH Max will be there. Black Hexagon and the lovely SJ will be there. And there's likely to be more added to the list as time goes on. We've got a few people, special guests that might show up there that you might really want to see. So get to Vegas. You don't want to miss it if some people show up that we may have showing up. Day one, Wednesday, March 6th, is going to be the Top Golf meetup. Top Golf. Everybody going to be hitting a little round ball. Not this guy. Don't do that stuff. I don't know why I just don't see chasing the ball around. I tried it once. It's just too much for me. Great time, social, food, drinks, and golf all included there. Day 2, Thursday, March 7th, is going to be a full day with the VIP. So all the people who may show up there, special guest, are going to be there on Thursday, March 7th. And that's going to be a full day out in Vegas, VIP event with, just the content creators doing cool, crazy stuff within Vegas, planned activities. So you're going to be having that, and the meals will be included. Day 3, Friday, March 8th, is going to be a seminar featuring the PulseChain Pitch Fest. Now, the PulseChain Foundation has set up what's called a Pitch Fest, meaning that people that are building or attempting to build on PulseChain are going to be able to have their projects incubated and help them to deliver to PulseChain. But before that, they're going to allow a whole group of people to pitch their wares. Show us what you got. Bring us what you got to the pitch event. And what they'll do is the winner of the pitch event gets a grant to help them build their project on PulseChain. So that's going to be put on by the PulseChain Foundation. They're going to be there doing that. Also, we're going to have speakers like RH Max. Don't want to miss RH Max live. He's awesome. The captain himself will be there, and you can sleep through that one if you want or whatever. But I usually have something good to say. Usually if you've got new people coming and they're excited, I get them fired up. They like the way I talk to new folks. Dollar Cost Crypto, my buddy, and Vegas. What would you call a Vegasopian? Vegan? A vegan? Are they vegans? Anyway, he's from Vegas. Him and Charlie of Cultivate Crypto are going to be there also speaking. And then we'll have an AMA with the panel. Everybody sitting there throwing questions, boom, 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 bouncing off of each other, all that. And then the VIP dinner and after party will be held at a private venue. I forget the name of the place. It used to be, I thought we had it here. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You'll know if you go. And then day 4 is the recovery day brunch. And more info on that is to be announced. We haven't completely figured out the whole thing for the brunch. But look, we only have about 9 days left to book the discounted hotel block rates. So please do so that you can get a good rate. You can always get a hotel in Vegas, but you want to be staying with us and get the block rates for the discount. Save you some bucks so that you can put that into crypto. So I see some people out there kind of like fudding what we're doing. So let me explain this to you. First of all, this is not a money grab. This is an event put on for onboarding. It's also put on for building recognition. It's also put on because I want to see us, instead of filling hotel rooms, I want to see us filling up stadiums. So we're learning, we're developing, we're getting better, we're growing, and it needs your support. The money that's spent on the tickets literally goes to pay for the event and the 2 people that are putting it on, not me. This is all done pro bono. I am helping organize it. I am helping, to finance it. And Kaylin and Black Hexkin and SJ are the ones doing all the work, and they can't do it for free. So we're taking care of them, making sure that their travel arrangements are taken care of, and making sure that all the work that they're doing is being compensated a little bit. They're not making money hand over fist on this. We never have. But it's a labor of love. We want it to grow. We want it to help bring adoption. We want it to help your new people understand. We want to get our network stronger. And those, when it's hugs, high fives, and handshakes, that solidifies relationships. And that's what we need here is relationships, so that we can all go out and do this on a unified front. I know there's a lot of people out there that are for some reason trying to split us all up, trying to make trouble where no trouble is. But I'm not going to stand for that. I'm going to keep trying to make everybody peaceful with one another. I'm going to keep trying to see the value in each and every one of you. All of you have value, every one of you. So those of you who are talking shit about other people, to me, it's fallen on deaf ears, because like I said, I see the value in every person here. If I'm valuable, then everyone's valuable. So that's how I see it. So anyway, get your tickets, get out, support the tour. You're not, wasting money by doing so, because being at these events, if you're a dyed-in-the-wool Hexkin and you want to help, or you need to learn, or you want to become part of the inner circle and start rubbing elbows with people, this is the events to do it at. PulseChain tour, getting out. It's great that we have the online conference that Maddie's put on. Gives us a lot of content, gives us a lot of information, over a few days, and we can all plug into it when we want to, and we can go back and watch it and all that good stuff. That's beautiful. But there is something to be said about a hug, a high five, and a handshake when you guys get together and we start networking together, and all the talent, all of the people that have these talents out there, the diversity of people that we have that have talent, get a chance to meet one another. And when two or more are gathered, that's when magic happens. And you get synergy. You get people going, oh shit, well, I've got this idea and I've got this idea, and they marry them together, and boom, companies blossom, projects blossom, things change, and it builds the ecosystem better. So these events are important, especially if you're that type of person that's looking for a little more. You're looking to get a little more out of the community. You're looking to be a little more part of. You want to get in front of this thing, not just investing into crypto, but actually going out and helping to bring adoption, spread the word around the world. So that's what these events are for. That's why they're important. They're not trying to bilk you. They're not trying to take money from you that you could be putting into crypto right now. This is an investment into your future. If this is the avenue that you're looking to take, if you want to be part of this, like our sequel to the movie that we may be making, all of these things that are happening, you want to be a part of. These are the events to get to and start networking. All right. Thank you for letting me clean house, and I hope that I did a decent job. As producer. Now, without any further ado, I'm going to bring up my man, and I think he's going to have to keep his thing, or he's not going to have his picture up. But if you want to meet him, he's going to be hanging out with us this weekend. All right, everybody, without any further ado, I will bring up Pulse Domains. What's happening, brother?
What's up, RG3? Hello, everyone. How you doing?
I am good, my man. I'm good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty excited, to be honest, since we are launching soon. So this is now go time. We're doing all of the final checks, and yeah, super excited of launching Pulse Domains. So yeah.
So Pulse Domains is getting ready to launch. Now, I'm going to tell you that the reason, I don't know if you saw Hexalina's Twitter post, but she wanted to have me talk to you, and oh no, I'm sorry. She sent me a DM saying, you got to talk to Pulse Domains. Pulse Domains is about to launch, and you need to get onto that one. So we were already in talks with SJ's been trying to, see if we can get something going, and here we are. So thanks, Hexalina. I appreciate you.
She's awesome.
Yes. And
Yep.
Freaking like brilliant, like absolutely brilliant, funny, memey, but brilliant. One of our unsung heroes in the community, killing it on the Twitters. The one funny thing is I wonder if I've ever met her without her telling me who she is while we've been out and about, because we've tried and she's just very closed with her identity, but yeah. Anyway, all right.
I'd say also her tweets are super insightful, really insightful. So I would definitely follow her on Twitter.
Yeah, if you're not following her on Twitter, I'm going to have SJ put it up there. Hexalina Pulsalot, who's on Twitter. And if you're following any Hexicans trying to get information or trying to hear alpha, I'm going to say top 3, Richard included, Hexalina's in there, right? So you're going to want to follow Hexalina on Twitter, wherever else you might be able to find her, but I don't think she's anywhere else.
I think she's mainly active on Twitter. Yep, that's the main source. Yep.
Yeah. Right on. All right. Well, let's get right into it. Let's talk about Pulse. Well, first, before we talk about Pulse Domains, let's talk about you, why you're here, what got you to the first with you. Just kind of give me a little brief history of you and your entry into the community.
Yeah, I think my entry into crypto just generally was like for many others. They tried to purchase some questionable substances online. At that time, I totally did not understand crypto. And that was kind of like my first entry into it. And I discovered Richard through a random, I mean, like if you're exposed to crypto and you're looking through the YouTubes and Twitters and so on, you essentially get exposed to Richard, and right from the get-go, he came off a little bit edgy, but he's smart, and I appreciate that in people. It's like doesn't matter how you say it, but if the content is really valid and straight to the point, I really appreciate that. So I started following him. That was during the Bitcoin or Hex Bitcoin days or Bitcoin Hex days before the launch. Also participated in the launch and saw the community grow. I was mainly just like lurking in the background, DCAing and just like supporting you guys. Also went to a couple of meetups and so on. Met a ton of Hexicans, and the Hexican community is probably one of the most interesting communities. It's like people from all walks of life doing various things. So it's definitely like a really cool community. And then with PulseChain, I had experience in building companies, and I'm like, okay, how can we make PulseChain successful, or how can I contribute in making PulseChain more successful? And there were two ways. One was with a naming system, something that many chains have, which also legitimizes a chain, but then also with a coin ranking side, right? Where with Pulse coin list, where we essentially showcase the entire ecosystem, the pricing, and so on, right? And so that was kind of like the motivation of like, hey, I want all of our bags to pump, bring more legitimacy to PulseChain with building infrastructure as well as sites that make it for someone new to PulseChain easier to digest, easier to discover what's going on, have nice and cool UIs, so people that are used to Web 2 experiences don't necessarily notice the switch into Web 3. And that was kind of like the entire motivation with Pulse domains as well as Pulse coin list.
Nice. So when you came to the community with it, how have you been received so far?
So in the beginning, I really wanted to contribute in building something, and I was also aware that especially if you build any third-party applications or third-party smart contracts, that there might be some pushback, especially when you build on PulseChain. And I understand that. I mean, I'm a Hex and PulseChain maxi for sure, but I also know that beyond that, for the person that does not know about PulseChain, or for the person that loves ETH, we need to build something that is attractive and that brings people into the ecosystem. We can be, kumbayaing our chain all day long, but if we don't make the entry as smooth and as easy and as visible as possible, we'll be just like a group on Twitter, just like circle jerking and enjoying ourselves, right? Like one of the things that we contributed on making it easier is the bridge buddy. So basically anyone that uses the official PulseChain bridge, we're dropping them 1,000 PLS, so they don't need to do another transaction into PulseChain and waste a ton of ETH gas fees, right? That was just like one small contribution to bring people to PulseChain and make the entrance into PulseChain easier, right? We now have almost 2,000 wallets that we gifted or gave away PLS to, and that again, right? It's like any way for us to bring you into PulseChain, explore, buy Pulse, buy Hex, all of the other things. I don't know, do whatever you want. I don't want to be, we want to be neutral in that case, but we want to make sure that you have a good grasp of the entire ecosystem and all of the cool things that are being built on.
How much Pulse was gifted so far?
Let me check it out. Well, one thing I have to say, we were planning to fund the bridge bot ourselves, but the community stepped up and funded the bridge bot. So we are now good for the next 7,000 onboards into PulseChain. So I want to really thank the entire community. Also Hex Scout, which is a big supporter, they donated, I believe, $1,000. But nonetheless, we will be giving away until the end of time, as long as we're bringing new onboards in. So let me actually quickly check how much we gave away. And the thing is that I want to really stress, it's not about how much we gave away. It's about the entrance of ETH, right? So let's say you have 1,000 USDT on Ethereum. We want to make it as easy as possible to bridge over. So now you bridge over 1,000 USDT to PulseChain. This basically means you require 2 transactions, one for USDT and the second one for wrap PLS to have it converted. And we wanted to take that extra step out to give you 1,000 PLS, which pretty much means you're good to do the next 10 to 15 swaps for free. So that's the whole point. It's not about, we're not trying to, enrich individuals in third world countries that set up bots against our bot, right? We want to really onboard new wallets, people that just started using the bridge, and then all of a sudden find themselves with 1,000 PLS ready to swap, ready to play around on the PulseChain ecosystem. So far we've given away almost 2 million PLS. 1,986 wallets have been funded, and the current bot balance is 23 million PLS. So we're good for quite some time, right? And again, big shout out to the entire community for doing that, because this is fully community funded, right? So it's like we just set up the bot, we made sure it's working. And then also anyone that interacts, the second they interact with the PulseChain bridge, 5 seconds later they get PLS on their into their wallet on the PulseChain side.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. And thanks for doing that. And shout out to you, and shout out to Hex Scout and the community. Hex Scout, especially because Hex Scout has built an amazing tool. That tool is just phenomenal. Love it. Love it. Love it.
I agree.
So thanks, Hex Scout, for doing what you're doing, and even contributing to this. What an amazing hexagon. And these people, you guys that do this background work, just don't get enough credit. I know we have a dev team now that's working on things, and I know the difficulty that goes into, the engineering that goes behind all of these protocols, and it is quite a daunting task, and the same thing goes with people like Whales and Kinetics, who've built projects behind the scenes. Just the hours and hours that all of you are spending to actually give to the community. So what I don't understand, and I would like to change, is guys, hexagons out there in the community, when people put projects like this together, it's best to give them the benefit of the doubt, especially if they're, I understand if somebody new just comes into the system and like brings something, throws it out there, and it's very salesy and it's very asking for money, it's very whatever, then we all have the right to be leery of it and to watch it very closely and to scrutinize it. But if we've got hexagons that are setting up Telegram rooms, speaking about what they're going to do, and they finally bring a product to market and it does things like this and provides value, let's please give them the benefit of the doubt. Let them prove themselves. I'm not asking anybody to go and invest in these things or to, take risk with them, but please give them the opportunity to go out and prove who they are before you start glomming onto them, before you start disparaging them, before you start taking snipes at them, before you start making streams that supposedly expose these folks. It's about trust, and it's about helping the community to go ahead and put things out there. Like Richard said, you guys go and build on it. I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to give you the foundation. You guys go and do it. You make the money, you build the products, you go and do it. So please, in that spirit, let these people do their thing. And it's okay to be leery, but you don't need to be poking everybody in the eye with sticks just because you can.
Yeah, I agree. And helping also, other developers get on board into PulseChain and allow them to build. For us is, on a personal level, I just love building products. And I think now crypto and building products kind of like merge together, where we're doing it on PulseChain. Also, it's like, all of it was self-funded. All of the contract audits were also self-funded. Nothing was raised, and I want really our community and PulseChain to succeed, right? We're not here for a month, not for 2 years or 3 years. We're here for as long as possible until we breathe, right?
At least 15.
At least 15, right? Maybe 16. Yeah. So, but But yeah, really, we want this to succeed. This is not a quick, fast move or anything. We want to really move slow, steady, and really bring the next 100,000 people onto PulseChain.
Yes.
That's the goal. That's really the goal. I know there are so many community members doing all parts of, of bringing more attention to PulseChain, be it on Twitter, be it in person, be it on building sites and so on. And I think, as long as everyone has a little bit of part in it on helping making PulseChain better, it is truly our chain. And as Richard said, it's like you do the work. And now it's up to us, like I had to ask myself, when Richard said, well, you do the work. And it's like, well, I have some skills, so now I should probably start showing them and do the work for making this successful. And I think this is a question that anyone in the community can ask themselves on, like, hey, what is your gift? We have people sending out postcards. We have people, being in Telegram rooms. We have people talking to friends. We have people going to conferences. It's like, whatever your special gift is, use that, to spread the gospel of PulseChain around,
Exactly.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to build a website or anything. Whatever your gift is or whatever your skill is, that is good enough and more than enough to essentially promote a PulseChain. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, my gift is getting out there and speaking to the hearts and minds of the people in person and getting to know people and connecting others with like-minded folks and networking. That's my wheelhouse. But one of the things I would like to add to my toolbox here is what you're doing. So why is Pulse Domains necessary? Why was it created? And what does it do for the ecosystem? Let's hear that.
Yep. One thing, please ask me all of the questions about domains and also Pulse Domains, because I know this concept is fairly new to many. And I want to make sure that we cover all of the questions. Also, if there are any questions that the audience has, feel free to put them in. We'll go over everything. So
could you real quickly, just to we get real basic level with everything. What's the difference between, say, a domain and a URL? Is there a difference? They one and the same, or what's the?
I mean, if we go far back, the way domains usually work and the way internet works is websites are pretty much an IP address. So it's 192.58.52.1. Well, our human brain cannot memorize that, especially if we have thousands of websites. So the whole idea around domains got invented, right? Human readable names. So now I can type in pulsechain.com and get to that site that also has the IP address of 152.3. Whatever it is. So it is. So it became as an easier way to access websites that are memorable, and that in that case allow people to use the internet a little bit more user-friendly, if that makes sense. So this is kind of like how the DNS system started.
Gotcha. And so what is the designation of a .com, a .net, a .org, a .pls? What does that do? Is it just categorize domain names?
So traditionally, we have an organization called ICANN. So they are essentially in charge of all Web 2 domain names. So the .coms, .xyz, .io, .co, and they are a centralized institution. They dictate of what handle gets issued. They also can shut down your website. So if the FBI wants to shut down your website, no problem for them, because they do that quite easily. So it is.
Wait. Let's see this now. This is the important, juicy stuff, and the reason why people need to be educated about this. So you're telling me that there's and see, I didn't even know this. So there's a centralized agency that designates who can be a .com, a .io, .whatever, and they have control over those domains.
Exactly. So they are in charge of all the domain names on the web. They are the ones that issue domain name as well as an extension. It is an organization around the world with hundreds of people that convene on a yearly basis. So if you want to get an extension, you have to pay them $200K for them to meet once a year and consider accepting your application. So with crypto, we are trying to start to decentralize power structures, and this is just another vehicle to decentralize one other entity when it comes to domain naming. Yep.
Perfect. So explain to me how Pulse Domains fixes that and how it sits in the ecosystem and what it looks like so that we can kind of put our head around it.
Yep. So with Pulse Domains, we pretty much create a smart contract that becomes the entity that looks up names and connects names, that is fully decentralized. If you mint a domain,
so it says that there can't be two RG3s.pls.
Exactly.
Basically what it's doing.
Exactly.
And it's handling the naming of it. So when you apply for it, RG3.pls is applied for, the contract takes it, creates it, and boom, lets it exist. Correct?
And there's also no application, by the way. It's just the mint, right? You go to exactly. You mint RG3.pls. You sign it with your wallet. It becomes an NFT dropped into your wallet that you fully own. We can't take it back. We can't, change it in any way because it's fully on the blockchain and verifiable for everyone. So, and then with that, you could essentially, with that domain name, which is an NFT, it opens up a ton of possibilities on what to do with it. You could essentially use it as a lookup for one address or your Bitcoin address and other addresses. It becomes almost like an NFT that can store a ton of data. It can store your YouTube link. It can store your IPFS link to your decentralized website. You could also take that NFT, transfer it to someone else. You could also create subdomains and give it to your entire team for free. So it becomes this NFT that has a ton of utility that allows you to do multiple things with it.
So wait, back up one more second for me and explain another, pleb question. So we have these, GoDaddy and domain hosting services.
Yep.
So that's obviously a middleman in between this other middleman, right?
Exactly. So they are pretty much the middleman in front of ICANN. They are selling domain names on behalf of ICANN. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So now so now let's go over to PLS.pls.
Yep.
There isn't, like you said, an application. There's a minting. So I go in, I mint my domain name. The contract says, yes, you can have that one. Just like a GoDaddy would say, yes, you can have that one. And then the minting process is a fee-based thing, or how does that work?
Yeah, exactly. So an easier way to think about this: imagine ICANN is Pulse Domains is the decentralized version of ICANN, and there's no middleman.
You're going straight to the source.
You're going straight to the source, exactly. And when it comes to the fee structure, we have 3 different fee structures. If you want a name that is 5 digits long, that's $5 a year. And I'll go into pricing and why and so on. It's $5 a year. Your domain name belongs fully to you. You can renew it. You can adjust it. You can point it to an IPFS website, attach all of the links, do all of the things that you want. And then with that, as the second tier is 4-digit domain names, which is $169 a year. And then the most expensive ones are 3-digit domain names that go for $555. So now the question is, why so high? And the thing is this: there are a couple of models that we looked at and to see what makes a decentralized domain name provider successful. And we looked very, very closely to ENS because they minted over I think by now 3 or 4 million domain names around the world. And they struck the balance of accessibility, but then also exclusivity. If you want to be cool and if you want to have a cool name, well, you pay more. But if you want to use it for utility or for various other things, it's as low as $5 a year. Now, the other question is, why don't I own it forever? I want to buy it for $10 and own it forever, or $5 forever. We also took a very close look to that because there are domain name providers where you essentially buy a domain name and you own it forever. And you exactly, unstoppable domain. However, if you look at their usage, if you look at the users, how they're using it, and then also if you look at, which, something very well to consider, the secondary market, it's not moving at all. people buy it and have it forever. And if we look at the traditional domain name system that works very, very similar with an annual renewal, we basically see a couple of dynamics happening. One, people that squat get disencouraged to squat forever. In addition, people that, in this case, lose their keys, that domain name goes back into the market. And three, that, incentive mechanism allows for more tradability of people essentially exchanging domain names and using them, right? And all of those dynamics are good for the ecosystem, for the domain name ecosystem, rather than selling one domain, you own it forever, and that dies. Because when we think about the adoption and growth of such system, those mechanics played a big role on making it successful.
Yeah, because some asshole stole discoursesyndicate.com before I can get a hold of it. And I would like to repeat that again. Asshole stole it, and I don't have access to it. Now I've got everything else taken care of. And I could get it legally, but I want my PLS name instead. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to support this platform and put all my stuff in PLS. So yes, I'll be paying the $550 a year for RG3. Well, and
I think we had also during the time when we announced it, anyone that is a streamer, anyone that is a Hexagon and has been in the community for more than a minute, you get it for free. We essentially mint it for you for free. You get it dropped once we launch. And this is essentially to kick off, right? And essentially allow you to play around, use it, and see the benefits in it. And
I think you already did, and I don't know what I did with it, so I'm going to have to go find it and
we'll double check after that. Yes.
Yeah, we'll double check, and then I'm going to, now that I have SJ producing the show and helping with things in the background, we're going to get things pointed, get the tour taken care of, and we'll also be pointing them to PulseChain, to PLS.PLS. So I'm excited about this, and I'm glad I'm learning, because now I understand a little more of the importance of it. At first I thought, because I'm not educated as to what this is, that it was just a novelty kind of thing. Like, okay, you can have a .PLS. Well, now that I understand that it's a decentralized way, that it takes me out of the double middleman problem, takes me away from the, also it gives me a better environment and ecosystem to function in, because I know now that people aren't doing all this ridiculous stuff out there, like squatting on domains and just holding stuff from people. And, because I paid I think I paid somebody $250 to go and investigate and ask the person to give the domain to me or sell it to me. And I got no response, and I still had to pay the $250, and it was just a joke. So I was
there was another middleman. That was another middleman that reached out to the third party. Yes.
Yeah, and then they dropped the, and didn't even, because nobody responded, I guess. So I just paid the $250 for nothing. But this gives it a more equal playing field, gives people more reason to, hey, if you're going to squat on something, then you're going to pay the price for it, especially if it's something good. Now, so I know that legally, I have a lawyer that says, well, you can take ownership of your domain name by fact that you own your businesses and stuff. Is there something in place for that here at .PLS, or is that because we're decentralized, that's one of the gifts we don't get? We don't get an entity or the law to come in and force somebody's hand to give up that domain.
Good question. So in the old world with ICANN, you essentially get a lawyer, you show your trademark, you show that it was indeed cyber squatting. Then your lawyer writes them a letter and so on. You go back and forth, and you might agree on a settlement and so on. In the new world, decentralized world, similar to transactions, once it's sent, it's sent. There's no clawback. Even like if the second a domain name is minted, we cannot take it back. We cannot modify it. There's nothing we can do, to be honest. Which has obviously its good and bad sides, but we believe that's where we're heading. Yep.
Well, that's why I like it, because I'd rather see if I have an equal playing field to go out there and I understand what the rules are, and I understand that, hey, first come, first serve. There's pain points to squatting now. That makes it an equal playing field, in my opinion.
But even for the squatter could essentially, put up a tweet and say, hey, Discord Syndicate is for sale now on all of the marketplaces, on all of the NFT marketplaces. Shoot me an offer. So you're pretty much directly in touch with the seller then.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I like that, and it gives people an arbitrage opportunity. Like, for instance, say they kind of get wind of there being something going on, and they, okay, well, I'm going to grab this domain for the year and see what these people do, and sell it for, So there's kind of a little arbitrage or business opportunity there for people, to be fair, I guess.
I mean, we don't talk about this too much, but the secondary market for domain names is crazy, especially if you look at record highs of some of, but again, that's the secondary market, and the secondary market does what the secondary market does pretty much. And we want to make sure that all of the services are up and running, and it's up to the secondary market to value it.
Nice. So how does so obviously there's a smart contract deployed on the PulseChain blockchain.
Yep.
And so there's no other hosting that needs to be done. This is all done through the same validating system on PulseChain, or do you have different servers that handle all this, or it's done?
Yeah. So if let's say a third party wants to resolve it and find your name, they're pretty much accessing the smart contract. In this case, they're accessing that smart contract for rg3.pls. And we'll find your address in there. So it's, directly on chain.
Okay. So here's another question. Now you got my wheels turning.
Yep.
So we've got these IPFS links that we all own now.
Yep.
Some of us are hosting them on our own machines, which is probably the best way to do it. But there are some of us building websites, and we're putting these links on the websites.
Yep.
So in all actuality, if you've got a, hexagon, frontend.com, and you own that, and you've hosted the IPFS links there, technically, the entity that you were talking about earlier can shut that website down.
Yes, exactly. So, but there are a couple of things. So we will have our own IPFS gateway that will resolve, let's say, rg3.pls to the IPFS website. And we will also open source that. So this basically means that now multiple people can take that front end and essentially resolve it to the IPFS address. So for instance, let's say if I'm just making up an example, so I could type in hex.pls.to, and that will directly bring me to the IPFS hosted hex front end. Right, if someone does that, and then that middleman in between gets open sourced, so other people can host their own version. Then it might be pls.fyi or pls.xyz, and basically now we have multiple gateways that essentially are able to resolve that name.
So, okay, well, let's take a step back real quick, and so that I have a better grasp on IPFS. Now I know. IPFS is basically just a decentralized way of pointing your domain, right? I mean, it just
of hosting it, exactly, of hosting
that domain.
Yes.
So it's hosted on servers that can't be affected. Decentralized form of okay, and so even though an entity could come in, what did you say the name of that entity was that hosts the domains?
ICANN.
ICANN. So let's just say ICANN goes, hey, hexagonfrontend.com. You guys aren't doing business anymore. We don't like the links, the IPFS links you're sending to. We're going to shut you down. So they shut that website down.
Yep.
But you guys say that if it was a .pls, obviously they wouldn't be able to touch it, period, because they don't have control of the .pls, first of all. Yep. And so then just basically the IPFS link within their website on .pls would be just a second layer of security against anybody shutting it down. Is that true?
Exactly. And you have two things that are evolving. So you have now browsers, and I think this is where the future is heading, where browsers fully support new extensions such as .eth. We have the Brave browser accepting that already. So that basically means there's zero middleman. I believe this will also, in the next years come for Chrome and Firefox, that we're going that direction, where they essentially start resolving .eth or decentralized domain name providers. And we're also, looking forward to make all of the efforts we can to essentially have that resolved. So that ultimately means there's no middleman.
So what's the difference between the Brave browser and say Chrome and Firefox and some of these others? What makes it, decentralized, if it is at all, or what's the difference between Brave and everything else?
So good question. So let's say Chrome and Firefox, they only resolve Web 2 addresses, right? Let's say apple.com, and the Chrome browser points it to the Apple IP address, right? And if you type in a .pls address or a .eth address, it just does not resolve because they have not yet adopted the standard of Web3 domain names. Okay. Brave, however, on the other hand, is saying, oh, you have IPFS websites, we will point there. Oh, you have .eth domain names that are attached to an IPFS website, we'll point there. And I think this is just a natural progression of where the web is heading, right? In the future, you will see that you can, sign in with your .pls address or your .eth address into a website without revealing your, email address, for instance. Or in the future, you could essentially decide what information you want to and don't want to share with a website if you log in. And I think this is still very, very early, but I'm seeing, we're just going towards that direction.
Gotcha. So maybe somebody within the community who has the intelligence to do so should be making a PLS browser.
Yeah. If they do it, I mean, they can Chromium, which is Chrome, pretty much the open source version of it. Yeah, we could have our own Hexakin browser.
Hey, why not, right? If we're going to totally decentralize, if we want to decentralize, VPN, Pulse browser, Pulse domains, boom.
Then there's literally nothing that can stop us, really.
Oh, man. Now I'm loving this. I'm really, really loving this. This is great. Now, see, once I figure things out and I start to, then I can start saying, okay, well, how is this going to help us? Where is this going to go now? So now I see the direction we're going in. This is great. This is great.
And again, right, like many of the things that we talk about with domain names and functionalities and so on, these are just like, very early stages. Most people are not exposed to it, but people use it on a daily basis, right? I'm using the browser on a daily basis to type in, google.com and so on, but I don't fully understand all of the underlying protocols and all of that's working, right? And so it is for many, many other people, right? But I think for PulseChain, if we have those bits and pieces in place, we can generally make a much nicer and decentralized experience for folks that enter PulseChain.
Yeah, and I don't know the technology behind it, but I'm sure that AI might have a helping hand in developing all of this stuff as far as tracking and pulling information off the entire internet itself, or kind of being like an Oracle type of situation for a new browser for the search functions anyway.
I think search overall will just change in the next years, right? Where you get the answer directly, and the question is, the overlords that essentially trained and modified the model will tell you what the answer should be, right? You could essentially have an algorithm that is a little bit more left or right leaning, based on how you configure or based on how narrow you make it. Yeah.
So Okay, so you've given me an overview. Now I'm into the meat of it. Now it's juicy. Now I understand. So tell me how what's your favorite part about all this? What is coming of it? What do you see
Yeah.
in the future?
Yep.
What's your excitement? Okay, so you made this. We got .pls now. We can
Yep.
do all these cool stuff with it. There's a future. What's
Yep.
the next step? What are you excited
So
about?
I think there's a couple of roadmaps with different timelines, right? And I think now the biggest way for us is bridging the gap between Web 2 and Web 3. And this is ultimately means like where you use Web3 tech, but in a decentralized way. So this ultimately means that when you, for instance, use a domain name, you use it, and like one of the things that we built on top is a decentralized profile. But you can resolve it in your regular browser that feels like a regular browser. It feels like a Web2 website, but it is actually indeed Web3 data that we're pulling in, right? And kind of like doing that kind of like mergence between Web 2 and Web 3. Long term, we see, where also the industry and also all domain names will be fully Web 3. And this also still means like we still need the infrastructure and the tech to essentially build that out. 1 second, there's someone knocking on the door, so I'll be right back in 2 minutes. 1 second.
Okay.
A minute.
All right. So interesting versology, a Pulse VPN. Yes. Let's get started on that. Well, you know what? We've got a dev team now. So I'm going to start talking about some of these ideas. Maybe Pulse Domains. I'll get with him this weekend. We're partying with Pulse Domains, by the way, folks. If you want to get to Cali and come hang out with us, Pulse Domains is going to be out there. I've been to a couple events where he showed up, and yeah, good times.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, guys, I had someone working in my house so they just came in.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, Versology was saying, how about a Pulse VPN, and it can it can set your destination as Hexaco or your location. I think he's meant to say location as Hexaco. Anyway, yeah. So continue on.
Yeah. So going. So like some of the things that we'll be also working on in the near term is to really work with all projects around PulseChain to essentially adopt a naming system. So for instance, with Hex Scout, instead of typing your address in there, you could just type in rg3.pls or whatever name, and it pulls up your, in this case, hex stakes and so on, right? So that will essentially be an effort for the next couple of months to ensure that all of the applications within the PulseChain ecosystem have an easier and a more intuitive way to navigate through it.
So are you telling me that we could use .pls to host our address, our wallet address?
Exactly. So, and this is a big caveat that I want to make sure everyone understands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have the name rg3.pls and you connect it and you basically send it over to your 15-year hex stakes piggy bank that no one should ever know about, at least publicly, that becomes known, right? Because now RG3, that NFT or that domain name is in that wallet, which in this case could dox you. But if you have, if you buy the domain name of funnycat55.pls, and this is how you choose to name your HODL wallet, then no one knows about it, right? So even like when we send out all of the domain name claims that people have made, we specifically ask them, because they're going with their public internet persona, we ask them to send us a net new wallet so we can drop the name there to avoid any doxing. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So in the future, then there will be places to input your .pls in order to pull that information.
Exactly.
Because right now it wouldn't work. Say I entered that information into Hex Scout right now. It's not going to pull that. It needs an address right now, correct?
Exactly. So most likely in the next couple of weeks or months, that will be a functionality that will be enabled on their front end. But let's say in the future, let's say you minted, Funny Cat 55 for your HODL wallet, and you go now to the Hex Scout UI and you type that in, it will automatically pull in that wallet and essentially show you all of your stakes and so on. And this is an experience with any application on
You think that wallets can actually do that too?
When you type in 42 characters, then yes, but other than that, so no.
No. So for instance, a wallet that doesn't require the actual seed words, it just monitors the activity. For instance, Rabby, you could throw your address in there and it'll monitor your wallet for you without you actually entering the seed words, because you operate those seed words from your Trezor, but still the Rabby wallet still pulls that information and shows balances and all that.
Yeah, exactly. So
a wallet will be able to have that function, and then when it wants to make a transaction, it would send the request to your Trezor and then transact through your Trezor. But it will always just receive the .pls as your information on the wallet.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's beautiful.
We have a couple of wallet providers that are already planning to integrate PNS. So this basically means you just type in RG3.pls and send whatever you want. That helps with with typos, and also making sure. And I think till this day, every time I do a transaction online, I double, triple, quadruple check all of the addresses just to make sure, right?
Yeah.
But now it becomes much easier where I have namings for my addresses, and again, not public namings, right? Don't have first name last name .pls. Don't do that. Use whatever name, right? But now I could essentially with ease just know that, okay, my wallet is funkyape.pls. Okay, that's my wallet. That's this wallet. So yeah. In addition, what we're doing, we're building a front end which is Web3 profiles. And so this basically means, let's say if I have RG3 or Discord syndicate.pls.fyi, I go into it and it functions as a profile /linktree /tipping function /NFT gallery. So you go to that web, so I can basically look into your profile, have all of the official links, and I know for a fact it was you because you signed all of those transactions to have your YouTube, Twitter accounts on the chain. And then also, so I know it's your official source. And then there's a big fat button to essentially tip you money. And the reason is, why do we included this big fat tip button is because if we think about the origin of Hex and the community, and it was like a lot of people that just for free created content for free, with streaming daily for free, went out and created events and so on. And we want to make sure that those people get seen, but then also help from the community overall.
Now, does it protect against people seeing your wallet address?
So no. So your wallet address and the .pls name, once you mint that .pls name and you set it up, it becomes interjoined into connected. So this basically, so that's why I'm heavily saying it. Don't use your first and last name or internet identity, because that becomes very obvious. But
thank you for the tip.pls, and that's where the button sends the funds to the address that's associated with that.
Exactly. You could basically say, hey, all of our official links, everything is on rg3.pls.fyi. You can tip us, you can check out the NFTs that we receive, you can check out all of the official links that we have, and pretty much use that as like your LinkedIn tip, not your LinkedIn, your Linktree, your tipping function, your NFT gallery, and so on. So yeah.
So again, so the actual address itself will still be exposed, or
the address will be exposed, right?
It will be exposed. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But then in that case, we highly hammer down that you should be, it's like, if you want that in your profile, you should know that this address will be exposed. It's on chain.
Yeah, we still have work to do to get anonymity figured out for transactions on the blockchain. That's the toughest point. I heard that, I think through the grapevine today, somebody launched a Tornado Cash application on PLS. I think that's what I saw. So we may have Tornado Cash now on PLS.
Yeah, I believe there are some individuals looking to see if the contract is clean. Just be very wary with new contracts. They got audited 2-3 years ago. It doesn't mean that there were additional changes made or not made. So give it some time and see how it evolves. But just to kind of like, because we went through the process extensively with audits, I can take a contract that was audited 2 years ago. I can take it, make my own modifications onto it, and publish it. So always make sure that you educate yourself and that you also verify the contract that is on chain, as well as the code that is in that GitHub repository, because those two can differ.
Perfect. Right on. Cool. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add to we've gone an hour here, so I'd like to go ahead and start wrapping it up.
I think we covered all of the basics, and I think it's easier for individuals to conceptualize this once it's fully out. Again, we will give a 6-hour warning to everyone. We will be launching within that 6-hour time frame. It might be hour 2, hour 1, hour 5, 55.
So are we looking within a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month?
Very soon. I'd say start practicing, learn about how they work, learn about the minting, check out our documentation page, which is docs.pulse.domains. I'd say get your fingers warm, make sure you're quick in pressing buttons and have everything warmed up.
And go get your stuff, right? Go get your domain. All you domain whores out there, go get yourself ready to go get your domains. But
yeah,
it's not going to be as easy as it was over on the other side.
So we anticipate, especially within the first, hour or so, a lot of people minting domains left and right. So, we have also people that use 2 or 3 browsers to do that. So, and then also cyber squatting is a thing. So where people, buy domain names of your name and put it on NFT marketplaces for 20, 30, 50x that amount. So you want to make sure that, and this is, and there's nothing we can do. Like once a domain name is minted and on an NFT marketplace, we cannot take it back.
Do you have a way to monitor that domain name to see if somebody's given it up? Or I mean, because if they don't pay for it, that like say the next year, and that's paid in Pulse, right?
Yeah. So this is actually.
So how will we see that? So if somebody took.
So what we will do, we'll build some analytics pages on top of that for people, especially on the expiring domain name situation, because it's like, so let's say you mint a domain name. You mint it today. A year from now, that domain name starts expiring. We'll give you a grace period of 30 days to say, hey, your domain name is expiring. You have the chance to renew for the same price as you bought it. And then if no one buys it, it goes into a reverse auction for the next 30 days. This basically means on day 1, it is 100K, and it goes down in increments all the way down to $5 over the 30 days. So it basically now gives anyone to bid on it and buy it at a price depending on where they are in the 30-day time window. Yep.
Gotcha. Yep. So that's just, you made it more fair again.
Exactly right. And also I have to say, many of the dynamics, have been seen and adopted by others, and those are the ones that work. Those are the ones that are as fair as possible. And I think also with Pulse domains, we want to be really as fair as possible, right? We had name claims for one particular name or from multiple entities, and in such cases, we would just want to put it up for auction for people to bid on it. We want to make it as neutral as possible. And similar with Pulse coin list, it's like we're not gatekeeping any tokens. The second you put liquidity up on Pulse X or V1 or V2, it is up on our side. So we want to really bring transparency and also make sure that some of the abuse that Hexicans and PulseChain received that we're not doing it ourselves to us again.
Right on. All right, my man. Well, I appreciate you.
Awesome.
And we'll be seeing you on Saturday, right?
Exactly. We'll see each other on Saturday. Really excited about that. So we'll talk more about the PulseChain ecosystem and its growth, and then also kind of like show some metrics on how PulseChain is overall growing in comparison to others, and how the builder community is growing, and how we can do more efforts to essentially encourage more builders, more attention, and essentially more pumpage to all of our bags.
Nice, my man. Well, hey, my hat's off to you. Thank you for explaining more and getting me even more fired up about this versus it seeming more of a novel idea to me. Now it means a lot more. You've explained it well. And I think people are there are people out there like me, maybe not a lot of them, but there are people out there like me that don't understand this stuff.
There are. I mean, just the concept of NFTs are not, most Hexicans or PulseChains don't fully understand all of the possibilities you can do with it. And then also domain name NFTs are very unique, which open up a lot of things. But what we'll be doing over the next weeks and months and years, we'll be doing education, use cases, community feedback, and really, especially on the front end side, continue to build and make cool experiences for our community.
Right on. Well, I'm going to myself personally, I'm going to be taking this information on the road with me on the tour this year so that people can understand, this is just another facet, dynamic of PulseChain that we have that decentralizes us even more. I mean, the ecosystem is turning out beautiful. I mean, all of the decentralization that we're getting, I think that we've beat them to the punch. I think that we've closed the door and locked it on them, and they're not going to be able to get in. And
through the key away,
there you go.
We can't even change it anymore.
Nice. Right on. All right, my friend. Well, if you don't mind hanging out for a second, I'm going to pull you down, end the show, and then we'll chat for a bit. Anything else you want anybody to know? Any websites or anything? All of it is in the description below, folks. But anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, I think make sure to follow us on Twitter and join our Telegram. This is where we will be announcing the launch of Pulse domains. Again, for anyone that does not know the Twitter, it is Pulse domains _. So type in Pulse domains into Twitter. You will see us pop up there. And then from there, you will have all of the links to our Telegram. Quick hint, check out the documentation, learn about valuable and not so valuable domain names. And you should have a good start with that. Right on.
All right, my man. I'll see you on Saturday. Thanks for coming. Thanks for explaining things. Excited
of course,
to get
anytime.
involved.
Thank you so much again. Really appreciate it. And then also goodbye to everyone. Bye-bye.
All right. We'll see you. All right, folks. There you have it. .pls actually means something, and it means decentralization. I'm gonna hit them up and see if we can get us a PLS browser and a VPN, and then I think that we're really cooking with gas. Last thing I want to say is, remember, we have a big announcement here on Crypto Coffee's channel. So you're going to want to go to Crypto Coffee on YouTube and see his channel. We're going to be doing that tonight. We've moved the show. We pushed it back 30 minutes. So that's going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific time this evening. And we've got a big announcement about some NFTs that we will be giving away. We're going to preview some NFTs, and we're going to be giving one away to one lucky winner. And then these will all be launching on Free Mint Friday with the Tang Gang. So if you guys are interested in free minting and all that, we're launching 2 different NFT projects. One of them for the PulseChain tour, another one with the Lithias project. So going to be an exciting day. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow on Free Mint Friday. So we'll See you guys tonight on Coffee's channel. And don't forget, Friday night is the effing hangout. Get yourself to our event this Friday. Or this Saturday. You're going to have an awesome time. Thank you all for coming. Let's see if I can hit the button and send us off. All right, guys. See you in the next one. Why is Hex better than Bitcoin? Well, first of all, it's the fundamentals of the code. The fundamentals of code are better than Bitcoin's fundamentals. The inflation model is better than Bitcoin's inflation model. The staking feature is better than a mining feature. It's new tech versus old tech. It's decentralized versus centralized. Yes, all of those things